Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. So I have moved the live streams to basically 5 p.m. CET time. That's gonna be the new time for the live streams every Wednesday. So once per week, 5 p.m. CET time, that is when you can expect a live stream. We're gonna start with the regular 6 Forex pairs that I trade, and then we're gonna go into some other interesting instruments a bit later. So we're starting with the euro and the US dollar. A brief overview that I can give you right away is that the dollar pairs are actually producing some movement, which is great to see, while the Japanese pairs are a bit stagnant and a bit corrective. Shahid, what about gold and Nasdaq? Yeah, for sure. I have gold and Nasdaq on the list. I have my watch list right here. So for live trading and for the live stream, we have Nasdaq, we have gold, so it's definitely coming up. But we're gonna start with the euro and the US dollar. If you guys have any questions, any chart requests, any general questions about trading, make sure to put them in the chat and I'll go through every single one of them as always. This is the euro and the US dollar, and I'm gonna start from last Wednesday actually, somewhere around here. So we did have this push up and I was looking for a buy setup. So this was looking interesting. I definitely saw a nice uptrend right here. And then we got some nice momentum, but a huge wick on the top, and that was definitely a warning sign. I just need to turn down the AC. Okay, so the huge wick was definitely a warning sign, and then a flag did print. Right here was the flag. So let's just get to the entry candle. This was the first high, first low, second high, second low. This was the first low. And the blue candle would be the entry candle. Now, for me, there were just a little bit too many warning signs with this particular trade. Basically, the huge wick and this selling pressure plus this selling pressure, that wasn't high probability in my personal opinion. So I did stay out of this trade right here. And it would have been a loss if I took it, so it's good that I did stay out. Now, a similar flag formed at the same time on the pound and the US dollar. I actually did take that trade. It was a small winner, so we're going to go through that. We're going to go through that a bit later, as you can see. Price breaks the low, breaks the high, and then starts ascending a little bit, you could say, on the top. So overall, you could make a case for a corrective ascending, but then it just kind of goes flat, ranges around, and the current market condition, I would say, is actually trending down, but I am seeing some big warning signs which are problematic. Okay, so they're definitely problematic. We do have some nice bearish momentum in this leg and in this leg as well, but then we have this large blue candle. So because of the large blue candle, I'm not looking for sell setups yet. It's just showing just too much buying pressure. If I just visually compare the size of this blue candle to all of the candles in the price action, right? I would say it is showing a big shift in momentum, an absolutely big shift in momentum. So that is not something that you want to see. Okay, what do I want to see on the euro and the US dollar? Well, I want to see the bearish pressure kick back in. I want to see this just become a pullback and then we get a drop and then we look for sell setups further down. That would be a good scenario in my personal opinion. And that is what I'm going to look for. Am I going to put this pair on the watch list? No, personally, I'm not going to do it because this bullish pressure is just too big of a warning sign. This blue candle, too big of a warning sign. So I'm going to be more patient on the euro and the US dollar. Next one is going to be the euro and the Japanese yen, which, as you can see, is clearly being very flat, corrective, and range bound. This was the time of the last live stream. In the prior live stream, I also talked about this pair being stuck between the high and the low. It is still stuck between the high and the low. Now, this is normal price action. I'm not really surprised by what we're seeing right now because we had a massive drop to the downside, some really big moves going down. So it's kind of normal for the price to fizzle out and to range around after such a strong downtrend. So my game plan is to, of course, be more patient on all of the JPY pairs, especially this one because it's still stuck between the high and the low. I'm not trading any range bound entries. So basically on the Euro US dollar and on the Aussie US dollar, I am trading range bound entries, and I would be selling the top and buying the bottom in this scenario. But on this currency pair, I only trade the trending entries. So I'm not going to put this one on the watch list. I'm just looking for a large push up like this or a large push down like this. So just looking for large momentum up or large momentum down and being more patient on EJ. Moving on to the Aussie and US dollar, and I am in a short setup actually, currently running around break even. It almost hit the take profit, but what you're gonna do, it was pretty close. So in the price action from the last Wednesday, let me find it, somewhere around here. We were flat, then we went down. Here, there were no high probability entry setups to sell, in my personal opinion. This break was not big enough. I wanted to see a bigger break of the low. So maybe some of you were looking for sell setups. I wanted to see a bigger, more convincing break. So that did not fit the plan. We then went up very correctively, pushed up, pulled back, broke the high, retraced. So this break wasn't enough either. Right here on the top, it was just a retrace. And then we were just flat, kind of going from a descending channel into an ascending channel, if you agree with me. And usually when you get this sort of price action where price goes from a descending structure into an ascending structure, you usually get more range bound price action. And just this by itself is an indication of a range bound market. So going back to the entry candle, Ivy, what's up? Welcome to the live stream. We're currently doing the Aussie and the US dollar, and we're analyzing this sweep opportunity. So, Shahid, how to identify reversal and retracement? Yeah, I'm going to go through it after this trade for sure. So, a couple of confluences that were good about this sell setup. For me, major high got taken out. This was definitely a major high. Again, I focus on the last 3 to 5 days of price action. And yeah, this is definitely a major high. Then you have a lot of selling pressure right here, I would say, in this candle as well here. And a lot of these sellers are putting their stop loss above this high. So that's another confluence. And a third confluence, you could make a case for this being a flat range. I would definitely say this is a clean flat range right here. So yeah, basically 3 major confluences. The high gets taken out, huge wick, which is great. That is high probability. And then the first red candle was just not big enough. So I got in on this red candle right here. 10 pip stop loss, aiming for a 3-to-1 risk to reward. So my stop loss is here and the take profit is right here at a 3-to-1. And currently, we are running in kind of around break even, I would say. Okay. Basically, it almost hit the stop loss. It had a meltdown right here, but then it reversed up. It is what it is. It's part of the game, part of the probabilities. So I'm just going to let this run. I'm going to keep my stop loss in, going to keep the take profit in as well. And then we will see what will happen. That's the only thing I can do. I can just follow the plan. And then basically, yeah, have the stop losses and the take profits in place. Let the market decide if it wants to take me out for a loss or take me out for a profit. I know that on a large sample size, I do have a good trading edge. So I just need to keep on executing. I need to keep on taking setups. In the end, I will be profitable. I will be in the positive. So now, Shahid, how to identify a reversal? Well, I can give you a good example on the Aussie and US dollar. So I just discussed this trade with a member of Zentum Trading. And this is a very good example of a reversal trade. So Usually, when you get an ascending channel, price reverses down and starts a downtrend. Or when you have a descending channel, price reverses up and starts an uptrend. How to identify a descending channel? Well, look at the lows, and you want to see all of the lows being broken correctively, okay? You want to see all of the lows being broken with very little conviction and with very little force. And that is exactly what you can see right here. So this is a nice, small, clean descending channel. Each time we break the low, right? Each time that we break the low, we retrace and we see weakness. So that means that probably the buyers are soon going to step in and they're going to start an uptrend, which is exactly what happened. You got this big impulse going up, then you got a nice quick flag opportunity. First high, first low, second high, second low. Blue candle is the entry candle. Let me just delete this. Put the line back in for the descending channel. This is the entry, 10 pips. And then basically you're going to get an uptrend, right? So that is exactly what we expect after seeing a descending channel. And that is how you identify a reversal. You spot a clean ascending or descending channel. Then you spot a nice leg of reversal momentum. And then you get in on basically an entry setup. So that would be it for the Aussie and US dollar. So my forecast is this. I do have this pair on the watch list because I am currently in a sell setup, but I do expect just more ranging price action, to be honest. Okay, I do expect this to happen. So maybe I'll look for more liquidity sweeps. I'll look to sell this top or maybe buy this bottom, right? That is a good game plan. Or for the trending entries, I'm going to look for just a large impulse up or a large push down. So that is the game plan for the Aussie and the US dollar. And currently it is not printing any high probability price action. AJ, unfortunately, all the JPY pairs. And also, Shahid, you said how to identify a retracement. Well, I'm not really sure what you meant. So if you can just explain what you meant a bit more in the chat, and I'll definitely go over it. But yeah, for reversals, I think the ascending and descending channels are a good way to identify reversals. Okay. Sorry about that. Tom, what's up, Tom? So Tom says, I expect a large push down on the Aussie and the US dollar. Well, look, the technicals are not telling me that we're going to go down. The technicals are telling me that we're going to range around. The probabilities are telling me that we're going to do this. Right? So just by looking at the technicals, I do not expect this price to go down, but maybe hit the bottom of the range, which is exactly where the take profit for my trade is, right? Let me see if I moved it here. Okay. So which is exactly where my take profit is, somewhere on the bottom of this range. Do I expect this to happen? Not really, because the price action is just very, very flat. Let's go back to AJ. Yeah, no worries, Tom. No worries. If you have a different opinion, maybe you're looking at some different time frames, definitely let me know in the chat. But on the 1 hour chart, the only thing I can read right now is that we're going to get more of range bound price action. Shahid wants US tech. Yeah, for sure. So after the Aussie and the Japanese yen, we're going to do NASDAQ for sure. Aussie and the Japanese yen is flat corrective and range bound, as you can see right here. So I'm being more patient. I'm not putting it on the watch list. I'm just looking for a large push up or a large push down like this. So not on the watch list. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Let's go from the daily. So usually for the instruments that I do not trade, I usually do a top-down analysis. So I start on the daily, then 4-hour, and then the hourly chart. The daily, you can see there was a big correction, but then a big bounce as well. Let me check out the percentage. Like a 15% bounce, which is nice to see. Unfortunately, currently it is not continuing. It is pulling back a little bit. So this is kind of a pause. And I would say this may look like a V reversal and a range pattern, which to me is a bullish pattern. So I would expect the price to continue going up. I would wait for a confirmation though. So I think the daily is bullish. Okay, I do think the daily is bullish. Also, if you squeeze out the price action, you're going to see that NASDAQ has been in a huge uptrend, in a very, very strong uptrend. So this may be just a pullback, right? This here, maybe just a pullback before we continue going up. Bullish on the daily, 4-hour. A bit corrective here, but it may be a descending channel, right? So this may be like a descending channel where you expect the price to go up. So like this. So I would say on the 4-hour, we are currently descending. And on the 1-hour, 1-hour is, yeah, descending as well. Which is not bad. That means we can reverse from this. So what can happen, let's say on the 4-hour, we can descend for a little bit more and then produce an uptrend and then basically buy on that uptrend. So that could be done. Then we have the S&P 500. I'm going to cover that as well since we are doing stocks. Same story as the NASDAQ. So it had a big sell-off, big drop down, minus 10%, and then a big bounce almost all the way to the high, right? Which is a bullish sign. I would say that is a very bullish sign. So plus 10.9%. Currently ranging around here a little bit, but I do still have a bullish bias. And I do think this is just maybe a pullback before we continue trending to the upside. So the 4-hour is a bit flat right here. It's looking a bit flat and stagnant, a bit corrective. Okay. And the 1-hour is, yeah, it's very flat. The 1-hour chart is just looking very flat. Right here. Okay, let's use a different tool. And I would just wait. I would be more patient. So the daily, I would say, is bullish, but on the lower time frames, we are stagnating a little bit. We are ranging around a little bit. We need to give it some time. And after giving it some time, we may see the price actually continue going up, which would be pretty nice. I definitely like when the indices are going up, right? When the US economy is gaining strength, I think that is a very good sign. I think it's a positive sign. And usually you get some nice trends on other assets as well. So let's see what this instrument will do in the next couple of days, maybe even weeks. We're going back to the pound and the US dollar. Okay, this is looking pretty bullish on the daily, but I'm not looking at the daily. I'm looking at the 1-hour chart. And I did take a trade after the Wednesday live stream. So last week, I think I did comment on this push up right here. We were in a definite strong uptrend. We were very, very strong. The price was looking very clean. Then we had a bit of a wick on top, right? Then a bit of selling pressure. And then we did have the flag form. Okay, so here was the flag. This would be the entry candle. You have the first high, first low, second high, second low. Blue candle is the entry candle. But I'm using a bit of a different approach to trading the euro US dollar and the pound US dollar. I use a timed entry. It all has to do with the trading sessions. You have the London session, New York session, Asia session. Okay, so usually I like to wait, let's say for the London Open, to get in on a timed entry when I see a flag in the markets, because usually the most momentum will come on the London Open. So I did wait a little bit, and I got in just before the London Open. Again, this sort of a timed entry is what we teach in Zentum trading, but the flag formed here. So if you're just trading the regular flag, you would have taken it on this candle. What I liked with my timed entry is I let the price range around for a little bit longer. So yes, this large wick and this shift in momentum were big warning signs. I have to agree with that. But we were in a very strong uptrend, right? Very, very strong uptrend. It was Thursday as well. Thursdays are the best days to be taking trending entries. And then basically, yeah, executed it right here. And for me, basically the confluences were good enough to tolerate the large wick and the shift in momentum. So Shahid says, if a pair is in uptrend, so how we realize that trend has changed, now what point should be monitor? Okay, yeah, we can cover it. And what about gold? I'll definitely do gold after the pound and the US dollar. And Charles says, bro, let the man talk. That's funny. But this live stream is basically for you guys to ask any questions you want. I really like it when I get questions like this. For example, how to define when an uptrend has disappeared, let's say, how to know when an uptrend has finished. So I think it's a very good question, and I'm definitely gonna cover it. So let's finish the pound and the US dollar. Took this trade with a 15 pip stop loss. Yeah, 15 pip one. Price went up like into 3-1 profit. Okay, so it was running some very nice profit, but it did unfortunately reverse. And I did follow the trade with my trade management, my trailing stop loss. In the end, this was like a plus 0.7% trade. So it could have been a much bigger winner, but this time with our trade management, we banked 0.7. So I still think that's good. It's a winner. So I'm happy that I took this trade. Okay, that's it for the trade. I know my colleagues, Griff and Nico, they didn't like this setup because they classified these warning signs as being just too big. So the large wick and the big shift in momentum, it was just too big of a warning sign for them. So they decided to stay out. For me, I decided to tolerate it because price was in such a big uptrend. You do not get these uptrends very often, right? So you want to take advantage when they actually form. Okay. And then price did continue up. So yeah, unfortunately I got taken out, but let's say I didn't, maybe I could have banked a lot more percentage. It is what it is, part of the game, part of the probabilities. Next time we may get a nice big winner. And this is a good lesson of how you can spot when an uptrend has changed. Right here, I would say. So we broke the low. Usually you can look at highs and lows. Here, this was sort of a range-bound area. But all the way, we are trending to the upside, and we are mostly breaking the highs, and we are not printing a lot of selling pressure. But right here, we broke the low once, and then broke the low twice, and then printed a lot of selling pressure in this leg. So you could say, if you are looking at an uptrend, and then you see a break of the low, and you see a lot of momentum, a lot of bearish pressure, well, that is usually a sign that the uptrend is done, and you will either get a range or you will get a reversal. In this case, we are seeing a bit of a reversal, wouldn't you say? So this is a big leg of momentum. This is a big leg of momentum as well. So I would say this price action is a good sign that the uptrend, which we saw right here, is maybe coming to an end, and we could get a short-term downtrend like this, like a correction, or just ranging price action like this. But what I don't expect is for the price to just continue shooting up. Yes, it can happen, but from what I've seen from my backtesting experience, this is a sign that the very strong uptrend is kind of gone and exhausted. So hope that clears things up. So just focus on momentum, right? Where is momentum? And all the way through here, momentum was clearly up. But in the most recent price action, momentum started becoming very bearish. So I would say the sellers started winning right here. Also, the lows are getting broken, which is not something you want to see when you're looking for an uptrend. Current price action. Yes, I was definitely looking for sell setups. I was definitely interested for sell setups on the pound, but we got this candle. This candle was pretty bad. It had a lot of buying pressure. Just for me personally, too much buying pressure. So now I want to see the momentum continue down. I want to see a big bearish drop, and then I would look for sell setups. So I'm actually going to put this pair on the watch list. I do like it. What I don't like is this part, but overall, I do think that this big ascending could produce a strong downtrend, right? And if that happens, I'll definitely be interested to look for sell setups. So the game plan is to see if the sellers can do this and then to look for a sell setup. Let me see what the US dollar is doing. Okay, so it's rejecting this area. That's good to see. But again, we never know what's going to happen. I'm just leaving my stop loss in, the take profit in, letting the market decide what it wants to do. That's it for the pound. Let's do gold. Since we did say we're going to analyze gold. So gold on the daily is pretty interesting. So it's definitely trickling up. It's trying to go up, but you can clearly see that this market phase is a lot different than this market phase right here, right? This was extremely bullish. You had a lot of big bullish candles, a lot of momentum going up, but then here, markets are very corrective. Each time we break the high, there is weakness. And that is a sign of a weak market. It's not a good sign. It's a sign that the momentum to the upside may be exhausted. So what I want to see for a bullish scenario, I want to see this happen again. And for now, I'm classifying this as, let's say, correctively ascending. So for me, I don't really see a big bullish scenario for gold. This may be like an ascending structure and could drop down, right? So let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hour is pretty flat right here, and the 1 hour is going to be flat as well for sure. Yeah, just as expected, it is very, very flat. So I would put my main focus on the daily chart. Okay. I would put my main focus on the daily chart. And I would say it is not looking that healthy if you're a bullish player in this market, right? Hope that helps. I think the S&P looks much better for a bullish scenario on the daily chart than gold, because the S&P just had a massive uptrend. Not an uptrend, but like a massive push up after this correction, which is a great bullish sign. While gold, as I said, is just trickling up, just barely moving up, right? So not a lot of momentum and volume is going into this. And the final one for my live trading list is going to be the New Zealand and the Japanese yen. And it is very flat and range bound, as are all of the other JPY pairs. So this is looking very flat and corrective. I'm not going to put it on the watch list. I'm just looking for a large push up or a large push down. And it kind of makes sense because if you go to the daily, you can see we had a massive, massive sell-off, some massive movement on the New Zealand and the Japanese yen. Huge leg down, small pullback, huge leg down again, huge wick, rejection. So it's normal to get a bit of ranging price action until the markets decide what they want to do next. But that is why we trade 6 currency pairs, because while the JPY pairs are kind of quiet, corrective, you have the dollar pairs, which are pretty active and are producing some nice high probability entries. And that's it for my live trading list. I'm going to run through the rest of these pairs that I have on here. So S&P we did, NASDAQ we covered as well, gold we did, silver. Silver is actually bouncing up. So that's good to see. I did not expect silver to do this because it broke this major low and then went down, but then it actually rejected. So it's not looking that healthy. It's not looking like it's in a big uptrend, but it is printing some bullish momentum right here. 4 hour, maybe a bit more bullish. I don't know. I don't like this price action, to be honest. 1 hour is definitely flat. I would just say this is pretty corrective. Like if this was a Forex pair and if I was trading this live, I would not be interested in many entries because it's just so corrective. My main focus when I'm trading as a trend trader is to find some clean momentum. This is nice. This was some clean momentum going up. This is some clean momentum going down. So I can work with this. I can definitely work with this uptrend. This is an amazing uptrend. So this is a great, you could say, break and retest opportunity. Large push up, 1 candle pullback. You go in, let's say, put your stop loss like this, tagged in, and then price just goes up. So yeah, that was a good play. Let me just see what the market did. Okay, so it actually reversed. So this price action, I'm not that interested in. And yeah, if you guys have any chart requests, definitely put them in the chat or any questions. We still have some time until the end of the stream. So yeah, I'm ready for the questions and just go ahead and post them if you have any. Silver is done. We have Bitcoin on the daily, just doing nothing, just pretty corrective, stuck in this area. Oil, sure. Yeah, I think I have oil on the list. Yeah, we're definitely going to do oil. Oil sometimes has some nice trends, so we'll see what oil is doing. But Bitcoin is just flat, corrective, and range bound in this area. Bitcoin, as you know, is a cryptocurrency and it needs hype to get going. If it's not in the news, if people are not talking about it, you won't get some major movement. Like you really need the hype train to start. You need a lot of people talking about it, and then you get these moves like this. But when Bitcoin is not in the news, when it's quiet, then you get moves like this, which is basically no moves. So I have my key levels set, which is here on this high and on this low. So we will see. I would much rather that it breaks this high than this low. But again, the market will do what the market wants to do. US oil on the daily. For me, this is looking pretty flat on the daily chart, pretty corrective, I have to say. So I'm not seeing much high probability price action with US oil on this daily chart. Maybe if we squeeze it to the 4 hour, it's still looking flat even on the 4 hour, maybe the 1 hour. Now the 1 hour had a nice uptrend. So the 1 hour definitely had a nice uptrend. I can spot a nice flag right here, which would have been a loss. But this looks like a very high probability flag. If this was a Forex pair, I would 100% take this trade. So it's a good learning example. You have a strong uptrend. You have a really nice push up, really strong push up. You have the first high, first low, second high, second low. Blue candle is your entry candle. So this is perfect. This is like a 10 out of 10 flag setup. So on the 1 hour, oil does produce some nice moves. I have seen some very nice opportunities happen on the 1 hour chart on US oil, like this downtrend, this uptrend. This is a very descending channel and a clean one. Like this is pretty clean, I have to say. Clean descending channel. And then price goes up. Yeah. So currently, looks like the sellers are in control on this 1 hour chart, but it broke the structure, it broke the high and retraced right here. See, broke this high, retraced. I wouldn't be surprised if we get maybe a bit of ranging price action, while on the daily chart, it is just very flat. Very flat in this area. So that would be it for US oil. I think we still have Ethereum left, which is pretty bearish. Yeah, Ethereum is pretty bearish. What did I take a look at? Bitcoin. Silver. Yeah, okay, Ethereum. I think I mixed up silver and Ethereum. But basically, Ethereum is looking pretty bearish here. It's looking like a pretty bearish picture. We broke these major lows. These ones. Broke them, got a lot of selling pressure, I would say. So I wouldn't be surprised if this actually goes down and possibly starts a downtrend. So Bitcoin is looking a bit better than Ethereum. But again, Bitcoin is the leader. So if Bitcoin becomes bullish, Ethereum is sure to follow. You may as well just analyze Bitcoin, to be honest. And the final one is the DXY. And the DXY is, of course, the dollar index. So if this is going down, it means that the dollar is losing strength. And as you can see on the daily chart, the dollar index is in a definite downtrend. I'm seeing a lot of selling pressure happening on the DXY. 4 hour, yeah, some selling pressure as well. So we have seen price slowing down a little bit, but definitely the sellers, I would say, are still in control. And on the 1 hour, I think we have a bit of a bounce. Yeah. So the 1 hour chart is showing a bit of a bounce, which means that the dollar gained strength for a while. But what I would focus on with the dollar index, I would not go on the lower time frames. I would just look at the daily. And on the daily, you're just seeing a major sell-off on the DXY. So that means if the dollar is losing strength, EU is more likely to go up, right? So is AU and so is GU. So that would be about it for the analysis. I'm just gonna do a quick rundown of the pairs that I'm trading live. Euro and US dollar, I'm expecting the price to continue down and I would look for sell setups. EJ is just super flat. AU, I have a sell setup in the market and we will see what will happen, but this is looking very flat and range bound. AJ, very flat and range bound. Pound US dollar, highly interested to see what will happen. And I want to see the price go down and show me a nice sell setup. And NJ is just looking very flat. So if there are no more questions, I think we're going to wrap up the live stream for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. For all the people that are in Zentum Trading, don't forget we have a call in 1 hour. So it's at 7 p.m. CET time. I'll see you there. And have a great week in the markets. As we can see, dollar pairs moving, JPY pairs are doing nothing. JPY pairs are just being very flat and corrective. I'm back testing the S&P 500. I will see if there's a good edge in it because I definitely want to get some more diversification in my portfolio. Like I want to start possibly trading the S&P, which would be pretty interesting. And I have seen some very clean setups form on the S&P. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next stream.